Welcome, Ryan. Good to speak to you this afternoon. To start with, can you tell us a little bit about EazyStock?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for having me, Tom. The whole idea of EazyStock was actually born out of our parent company, Synchron, who are optimizing inventory and sort of pricing for some of the world's largest manufacturers. And of course, the big kind of question came that can we do this for the SME market, who are in just as much need for something that can handle demand and constant issues and disruptions with supply chain? So back in 2016, we decided to approach that market and created EazyStock, and sort of gone from strength to strength and a lot of growth since then. And kind of, started working with associations that are close to our heart, which is obviously trade associations such as yourselves, and others as well, which kind of work around wholesalers, distributors, and manufacturers, who are obviously in need of the kind of best forecasting abilities and inventory replenishment that they can actually use with their systems.
I was going to ask you about that. Actually, you're our most recent affiliate member. What was some of the reasoning behind you joining the association and engaging with our members?
No, absolutely. So I've been involved with bathroom businesses for the last sort of 5 years at my previous company as well, and have struck up some good relationships with people, both distributors, wholesalers, and also quite a few of the manufacturers that are actually within your organisation. So the whole point of view of why we wanted to be a part of the BMA was we saw that the sort of key morals and the vision of what you guys are trying to achieve through digitalization and helping businesses overcome this, which can sometimes be quite scary. We tended to find that people will either be dragged kicking and screaming into digitalization, which is what COVID did and the sort of mess that Brexit was, or they'll embrace it and they'll be forward thinking and lean on innovation. And we found that the BMA hosts members from all different sides of that, and being able to be in a position to offer help to them, whether they are obviously very innovative themselves or they're just trying to bring their brand into the future, we believe that this was a good position for us to be in.
We've encountered quite a few issues over the course of the last 18 months since the industry and wider economy woke up after the initial lockdown at the start of the pandemic. We've encountered lots of issues around product availability and supply chain fragility. How can stock optimization and EazyStock help with some of those issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not as simple as there being a golden rule or a simple bullet that will fix everything. It's about being as informed as you possibly can and making sure that you're preempting possible outcomes rather than dealing with information after the event has occurred, because that's damage control. So ideally, what you want to be doing is looking at how we can best inform our suppliers as to what we're likely to come for, to make sure that they have an idea as to know that demand will be increasing in certain periods based on history. And that is, of course, what EazyStock does really well. We look at the periods, we look at the forecasting, and we look for those trends in seasonality. That isn't just your typical seasonality profiles. We look to see if there are kind of curves and trends with their current suppliers that could help them to give them more visibility and obviously allow them to have a stronger chance of fulfilling their demand. Demand increased hugely in 2020 over the last 18 months in general, when people obviously stopped going on holiday and thought, let's put some money in the house and do the bathrooms up in particular. And that has been very difficult for some of the people that we've worked with and some of the people that we're talking to now, where they're trying to fulfill this unheard of demand that come out of nowhere. Everyone's having record months and so on. So it's interesting to be able to give your suppliers ahead of time this information to allow them to prepare for what is actually due to come. There's also fantastic information that can be derived purely from looking at how they're actually classifying their products, how expensive they are to hold in the business, and what it means to them to actually hold them. It could be something as simple as that they're not in a position to fulfill demands of particular product lines, that they may want to rethink positioning on their website and so on as well. So we're able to offer consultancy and help in that area, and it's proven to be very valuable for our customers so far.
So would you say it's what's the kind of the USP really? Is it about freeing up working capital? Is it about improving service? Kind of what's the top thing for you that EazyStock can offer?
Absolutely. So in an ideal world, when supply chain was at its at its normality, then we would look at reducing inventories because people often held excess stock. Now we're in a position where excess stock, of course, isn't necessarily the ultimate issue because people are trying to grab onto what they can in order to fulfill orders. So we also look at improving those service level and making sure that they're getting to the service level and not losing sales with the least possible inventory investment, to make sure that they're not holding on to needless stock that may run into obsolescence and cost the business money.
Yeah, just to, I mean, we mentioned that we've experienced some unprecedented times in the last 18 months, 2 years. Just replaying some of that, how did that play out as far as what you saw with your customers? Did you kind of see that huge spike in demand coming? Is that something that you were sensitive to, or was it just that extra kind of couple of months, perhaps head start on kind of garnering insights that you're able to deliver?
So there was an element that's obviously we understood that when demand was to shoot up, that we'd be able to instantly jump in and help based on our work with some of our larger clients with Synchron. But ultimately, you could see that there was going to be kind of a spike due to the fact of when they was allowed to, for instance, keep out open merchants and people who were not just essential workers, and they were still being able to trade. That when people are indoors and they're no longer allowed to travel, we saw that obviously everybody was going to start taking on home projects, and that's when the boost in demand kicked off. So we could see that was the case, and with some of our customers who we'd onboarded previously who were going through that whilst they were obviously new to EazyStock as well, we were able to immediately help them adjust to it, because we've kind of been in that situation before where you can hit these giant peaks in demands and panic on how to fulfill it, which isn't uncommon in that world.
Your solution works with kind of existing ERP and other inventory management software, doesn't it? Yeah, I just wondered if you could kind of give an example or two on exactly how that works in practice.
Absolutely, yes. So we interface with ERPs. So we look at taking the data from the ERP and running it through all of our kind of manipulations with sort of data policies and inventory policies and classification of their products. And then, of course, we do all of the optimization through our suite and then inject that information back into their ERP to allow them to process the orders as was in obviously the current state. We find this is a much simpler way of doing it because you don't want to, for instance, do double entry or potentially run the risk of the parameters changing from the ERP to our system. And we do that with many different ERPs out there and have partnerships lined up and so on as well, which has helped us to sort of position ourselves in the market correctly.
And I mean, you mentioned that you personally worked with quite a few bathroom companies in the recent past, and you've got an incredibly long and impressive list of clients on your website. Just wondered if you could give an example that's perhaps quite close to home for bathroom manufacturers of how EazyStock has helped perhaps a company within our industry.
Yes, so it's from a distributor's point of view that we've had a strong run of success in the UK over the last sort of 12 to 18 months. We've continued our long-standing relationship with Eastbrook, who are a fantastic bathroom distributor. And of course, we were very happy to bring on board Frontline Bathrooms as well, and have recently started to work with a close few others as well. And it's been very interesting because not only are they bathroom distributors of other brands potentially, but they also do their own products as well. So they fall onto that need to have as much supply chain knowledge as possible because of pulling in and importing products from China, from Turkey, and all over the place, and seeing the constant issues that has actually arisen from that and being able to deal with it. So not only dealing with suppliers in the UK and brands, but also their own particular product lines as well.
Ryan, anything about kind of working with the BMA, working with our members that you kind of want to just comment on before we draw the video interview to a close?
Absolutely, we're very excited to have joined the BMA. We're thriving and ready to go, and want to meet the members, talk to them, share their challenges, their problems, and ultimately, my final message would be that we're trying to simplify a very large problem that's occurred over the last 18 months. It doesn't show any signs of really slowing down just yet, based on the economical sort of facts and figures that seem to be shared weekly at the moment. But it's about simplifying and allowing people to kind of try and take control back of their supply chains.
Ryan, great to catch up with you, and see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Tom. Cheers.